The Grizzlies have arrived. A perennial FCS power, Montana, ranked 4th in the country, rolls in with a perfect season on the line as they get set to take on Sacramento State, who in front of a capacity crowd a week ago won their 4th game in their last 5, really starting to turn their season around after a slow start, and another party atmosphere expected at Hornet Stadium tonight for a big matchup with not just Big Sky implications, but national. Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. Montana atop the Big Sky standings, hoping to slow down Sacramento State, who is on the climb right now in those standings. In their final year in the conference, Montana and Montana State, that big rivalry is a regular season finale for the Grizz. Alongside the former Notre Dame star Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, a year ago, Montana won 9 games. They're 2 away from that number already, thanks to a top 5 offense in the country, and it all starts with their sophomore quarterback, Keali'i Ayat.
Yeah, Ayat has been dynamic, but you mentioned the versatility of this offense. They're so versatile. They can run it, they can throw it. All 3 players here mentioned here today, from Ayat to Gilman and Wortham, all make a difference. Gilman's got 11 touchdowns. Wortham has 6 receptions a game. He's top in the FCS. So it's that versatility that's going to create a big, big problem for Sacramento State tonight.
Ayat and Gilman returned from a year ago. Wortham, a guy who they picked up in the transfer portal, is as dynamic as anybody in the country.
Yeah, he's very fun to watch. He does it all. He will also return kicks. They'll also put him in Wildcats, so he'll throw the football as well. I am excited to watch number 6 compete today.
Sacramento State, 4 out of 5 wins. They come in, first-year head coach Brennan Marion, and the go-go offense, which we'll see tonight. They are going to run the football.
They're definitely going to run it, so that's exciting for me as a former runner to watch them run the football. But they do it with a stable of guys. Hammond is the first guy. He normally gets the nod for them to start at 134 yards a game, but they got a number of different guys who have gone for over 100 yards apiece today. It's dynamic to watch this football team run. The running game is super strong. They'll keep it on the ground tonight.
Yeah, they've thrown for under 150 combined yards the last 2 weeks, and keep an eye on number 2. He's going to have the football tonight. Rodney Hammond, another one, top 10 in all-purpose yards in all of the FCS. We'll see some very talented players on display tonight, and a little extra in this matchup with some chirping that's gone back and forth this week. We'll tell you about that coming up next. It's Montana and Sacramento State. Sacramento State fans ready to go. They've won 3 of the last 4 in this matchup. 2 of those wins came when Montana was ranked in the top 5. Here comes number 4 again, and Sacramento State's president, Dr. Luke Wood, feeling confident. He said last week, we're looking forward to playing the Montana Pandas. I'm sorry, the Grizzlies. That's their name, right? He went on to say they're certainly a great team. They haven't played nobody this season. Well, Montana head coach Bobby Hauck was asked about that at his press conference, of course. Dismissed it as much as he could, but said, the guy's kind of a clown, right? Whatever. On we go. A little extra between these 2 teams this week. Now, Sacramento State's Luke Wood did put out a video today in a nice gesture welcoming Montana fans to Sacramento. Also made a donation to the Montana Student Food Pantry. I don't know if that's going to take away any extra motivation that Montana got from those earlier comments, though.
Well, the exciting piece is just the trash talk is alive and well. And sometimes, Chucky, when you're going up against a really good team, sometimes you got to hype yourself up to go against the monster. So I like it out of Sac State. They've come to play tonight, including the president. Should make for an exciting matchup.
Brennan Marion, year one, comes over after a couple seasons as the offensive coordinator at UNLV under Barry Odom, who moved on to Purdue. And it was a slow start for Sacramento State, but they have won 4 of their last 5, and they are looking dangerous. That's into the end zone for a touchback, and we'll get a look at that go-go offense for the first time. The 4th-ranked rushing offense in the FCS, and a team that runs for almost 250 yards per game. That's Cardell Williams, the junior from Houston, Texas. Started his college days at Tulsa. He's only thrown for a combined 143 over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's not required to throw it a whole lot, but I think his arm tonight is going to be more important because I suspect Montana might load the box up to try to slow down this run. He's going to have some one-on-one opportunities on the outside, so expect to see 7 needing to sling it out in the wind today.
Typical 2-back formation. They're going to throw this laterally to Sam Adams, who's cut down quickly on the outside by Kenzel Lawler, the redshirt senior from Corona, California.
Nice job by Lawler there, coming up and making a big-time play. Now, these second down situations, specifically for Sac State, they like to keep the football on the ground. In this instance,
another handoff, this time to Hammond. And there is nowhere to go. White jerseys everywhere. He gets just past the original line of scrimmage to bring up a 3rd and long. Elijah Tolbert, the leading tackler, makes the play.
This is an excellent job, too, by Oluski, number 45, coming in and making a play on the outside from his linebacker position.
Almost 250 rushing yards per game as a team for Sacramento State. But they're in a passing situation here with 4 receivers spread out. They will hand it still to Hammond, who tries to cut upfield, but he's hit hard near the 29-yard line and dropped. It's Elijah Tolbert again, the transfer from EIU.
When you see that Tolbert and this defense at Montana, they are not allowing these backs to be able to get outside. All these outside plays, they're doing a nice job of coming up and showing leverage on the inside. Montana has always played nice defense, but you see schematically they're doing something different today, stopping these backs from getting across the edge. Nice play calling on defense by Bobby Houck and company.
Sacramento State head coach Brennan Marion talked about the violence that Montana plays with, said we have to try and match that. It is a physical and violent football team, and we saw that on the opening defensive drive. Cal McGough, kind of a muffed punt a little bit, or a shanked punt, I should say, and that's going to roll down toward the 30-yard line where it is down, and that's where we'll see the Grizzlies offense for the first time that is atop the league in all of the major categories, and it's thanks to a second-generation quarterback at Montana, Keali'i Ayat, who is a redshirt sophomore from Kaneohe, Hawaii. He has been excellent this season.
Now, Chucky, last year he started 6 games, but he has improved with being able to go through his progressions this year. So we're watching him grow up into the position after playing well last year. He's been playing lights out so far for the Grizz.
His star running back, Eli Gilman, in the backfield. He needs 87 yards to become the 5th Grizzly ever to 3,000 on his career. Here is Gilman. He's going to get a big chunk of that 87 on the first play of the game across midfield. And Montana showing off the run game of their own. Finally pushed out by McKenzie and Mulliken.
They do a terrific job of using the motion to be able to distract the defenders there. Ian Fitch, number 5, is going to come across the formation in motion. That movement brings linebackers that way. It gives Gilman just enough space to be able to get outside and get up the field.
He got 29 of the 87 needed to reach that 3,000-yard mark. Gilman again breaks one tackle in the backfield and bounces it outside. Gets a really nice pickup on what looked like it might not go for anything. Koa Akui, another Hawaiian native, on the tackle.
Gilman showing you that elusiveness there with his ability to be able to break those tackles. Incredible numbers, over 700 yards this season, had that 1,000-yard season a year ago. On pace again to try to eclipse 1,000 yards this season. He's been consistent in his career, continuing to grow. Love to see it.
Bobby Houck and this Montana program have done a nice job of hanging on to their stars in this transfer portal era as that pass is intended for Michael Wortham. They've also shown they can attract other stars in the form of a Michael Wortham who came over from Eastern Washington this year.
Wortham was one of those guys when he entered the transfer portal. There were so many suitors. Everybody wanted him. He wanted to compete for a championship and to play at a program that could put up some good productivity. Montana was the choice. Wortham's moved into the Wildcat position.
Wortham is at the quarterback position in the Wildcat, trying to get downfield. He is going to be dropped short of the first down marker, and it brings up a decision here for the Grizz on 4th and a yard.
You have to assume here that they're going to go. Nice shot from Evan Schaefer here, 84, the tight end. Wortham's trying to get behind him and across from him, able to do so. But a nice job by Rocha, closing down to force the 4th down.
4th best 4th down conversion team in all of FCS. Wortham pitches it outside, a little trickery. Gonna throw it downfield, incomplete pass. He tossed it back to Ayat. There was great coverage downfield, and Sacramento State takes over on downs.
What an incredible job defensively from Sacramento State. Jason Oliver that time, number 12, wasn't fooled. He kept his water there. Lots of action happening in the backfield, but watch Oliver here, number 12. Excellent job at keeping his water. Sac State takes over on downs when we get back.
Offensive drives to start this game in Sacramento between the Grizz and the Hornets. Let's take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Brooks. Who you got, Darius?
Yeah, a lot of guys to make some plays here. Gilman has already made a big play for Montana. Tolbert leads them in tackles. On the other side for Sac State, Aiden Meek, the tackle. He's a captain. Also, the defensive back, Akua, makes a ton of plays in the back game.
They hand it off to Hammond on first down. They ran it 3 times on a 3-and-out on their first drive. They get 3 here on 1st and 10. The tackle by Diesel Wilkinson.
Shucky, this battle up front from this offensive line against this defensive line for Montana, for Sac State, that's really going to be the difference. Dean Abdullah, number 52, the right guard, Jose Soto, they got to play well today.
Flip it to Campbell on a little end around. Campbell scoots forward. He's close to a first down. They'll mark him about a yard shy. That's Ernest Campbell, the transfer from Texas A&M, an All-American trackster for the Aggies a year ago as a freshman.
You see they're trying to get the stars in. They're trying to put it in their playmakers' hands. Excellent job from Jose Soto there, the right guard. They pulled him. He was able to get up the field to create some space for Campbell.
He'll also compete on the track and field team here at Sacramento State. Another little bit of trickery here. Jace Wilson this time, and running through a tackler. He should have the first down. We'll see what the marker is. They will move the chains. After Jace Wilson gets the carry, his brother Jalen was a star on the basketball court for Bill Self at Kansas, now with the Brooklyn Nets.
An interesting call there on 3rd down and short, though, not keeping it on the ground with their backs. Wilson's able to get that. Sometimes, Shucky, this offense, you can follow those tight ends. Gavin Nelson that time, number 87, they sent him across the formation. Those tight ends lead you to the football if you're Montana.
Damian Henderson is the back, straight ahead, and we were on the field before the game, saw Damian Henderson walking around 6'2", 210. That is a big man. Don't forget our Saturday SEC on ABC college football triple header, number 8 Ole Miss and number 13 Oklahoma at noon Eastern. Then 4th-ranked Alabama squaring off against South Carolina. LSU and Texas A&M caps it off in Death Valley. Each game also available on the all-new ESPN app. SEC All Day presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. 2nd and 4, they go right back to Henderson, who uses the stiff arm, and he's pushed out shy of the 40-yard line. But for the 2nd time on this drive, they move the chains.
Keeping it on the ground, as we know they will. Good job by Henderson. Watch Dean Abdullah here, number 52, the center. He's the one who gives that space. Anytime a lineman can turn his back to the back and turn a guy outside, is going to leave a gaping hole for a running back. Excellent job by Abdullah up front.
Over the last 5 weeks, when they've won 4 of their last 5, they've ran for over 310 yards per game. No more broken tackles, and a big finish to the run near the 35-yard line. That's going to go for about 8 yards on first down for Henderson. Lawler was on the wrong end of that.
Shucky, one of the things I love about this offense, in addition to just keeping it on the ground, the fullback, Sammy Norris, number 38. Watch 38 here. Makes a big block on that edge to give Henderson the space. This is one of the few teams across America right now, Chucky, that still has a fullback. Hurts my heart to say that, but it is what it is right now. So love to see Sammy Norris, number 38, out there competing. Keep it up, big fella.
Their offensive coordinator, Kenneth Merchant, said, man, near and dear to my heart, loves Sammy Norris. Handoff on 2nd and short, another first down. We're seeing another back, Jaquale Smith, the true freshman. 238 of his 239 yards have come in the last 2 weeks. They said, look, we reward people who practice well. They felt like he was ready, and he's got his opportunity.
As a true freshman, he's just been dynamic in the backfield over the past couple of weeks. They're going to lean on this stable of running backs. One of the luxuries of this offense, they run the football well, but because they got a number of guys that can run it, there's always a fresh pair of legs in the game.
Adams and Henderson this time to the right of Cardell Williams. They go back to Henderson. He is hit hard that time right at the line of scrimmage. Tries to spin ahead for a yard. TJ Roush, the redshirt senior from Missoula, local product, with a big stick from his safety spot.
This battle between the fullback and the linebackers is going to be key. Watch 38, Sammy Norris. He's going up against Adluski, number 45. That collision, we're going to see a ton of that here today. Oblewski able to win there. That's what Montana's going to have to do. They're going to have to win those battles in between the line, being more physical.
Little fake option play, and Williams is hit hard. About a yard shy of the line of scrimmage.
Excellent job defensively that time. Caleb Oblewski, number 45, playing well from that back. Excellent job. You see all those white jerseys in there. That's what it's going to take for Montana to win in this run game and this run defense swarming to the football.
10th play of the drive. Throwing outside, caught, but falling down a few yards shy of the line to gain is Jordan Anderson, one of their top receivers, but has been quiet the last couple weeks, picks up his first reception.
And that's one of those situations at quarterback for Williams where he's got to make that throw where the wide receiver can catch it and get up the field. Brady Boehner, number 25, the cornerback, had a big split on the edge, so there was enough space for him to be able to catch the football and make some yards. Williams has got to give him a better throw.
Norris is back out there along with Rodney Hammond Jr. They're going to roll out and get it into the flats, into space across the 20. They've got the first down as they find Jordan Williams, one of their tight ends, who's really built like a big receiver at 6'5", 217.
You mentioned the frame there. That's what makes this so easy for Williams with this throw. Able to spot number 16 moving across the formation after the rollout. Easy pitch and catch for Williams there. That's what's going to help Williams with his throwing game, is giving him those short dink and dunk passes so he can build his confidence up. Because we've talked about it. They don't throw the football a whole lot, but when they do, they need to have an impact and to make a difference.
Hammond into the backfield behind Williams. Williams on the keeper, runs into his own man. Now he gets outside, has great speed, and he's inside the 10. Another first down as he ran out of the 7-yard line, forced out by Micah Harper.
It's the leverage on the outside for Montana that they gave up. Brady Boehner, watch 25. He's at the top of the screen here. He's trying to keep that outside leverage, but because he spins back inside, that leaves a ton of space for Williams on the outside with the cut. Nice job running with the football in his hands by Cardell Williams. And you see the numbers here. He has improved as a runner, especially in this go-go offense. Really puts extra stress on the defense when the quarterback can move.
First and goal. Handoff up the middle. Touchdown! Rodney Hammond for the 6th time this season is in, and Sacramento State leads here at home.
No surprise here, Chucky, for the Hornets. Keeping the football on the ground and mixing it up with those short dink and dunk passes, able to get the football and drive it all the way down the field. And Hammond pays it off.
Grant Metters on for the extra point. It is good, and it's 7-0.
And Chucky, we've talked about this offensive line for Sacramento State. Ian Abdullah and Jose Soto, 52 and 73, paving the way for Hammond. The Hornets are rolling.
ESPN College Football is presented by Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Two-time national champions in '95 and 2001. They've reached the championship game at the FCS level 8 times, 28 FCS playoff appearances for Montana, dating back to 1993. That's 31 full seasons. They've had 8 or more wins 25 times, and they are headed there yet again, one shy of that mark, ranked 4th in the country, and some of the perennial powers up there with them.
And it seems sort of fitting here today that they kind of feel like Goliath. That's what Montana is. They're kind of Goliath. Sac State's trying to be David here today. Able to get the first score in this game, but you can't deny what Montana has done and the success they've built over the years.
Montana leads the all-time series 21-4, but Sacramento State's won 3 of the last 4, 2 of those when Montana was ranked 5th in the country. Here is Wortham, who is super dangerous, darting forward. Wortham into space, and he's dragged down at the 45-yard line. The spark plug, Michael Wortham, sets them up in great field position.
He is so dynamic and so dangerous with the football in his hands. He does an incredible job of getting this ball upfield, but you see the vision when he plants that foot into the ground, the explosive nature to be able to get up in between defenders is really second to none. And it's just incredible what he can do with the football in his hands. And here's the thing, maybe that's the jump start that this offense needs to be able to get rolling.
Number 1 in the FCS in all-purpose yards, adding to it right there, Gilman in the backfield. They go to Gilman, who's bottled up immediately. Black jerseys all over the place to make that stop.
This is an incredible job by Sac State here. They had 8 guys in the box. They got all these guys in the box. You see all the black jerseys in the box. No holes for anywhere to go, but then the penetration from all those black jerseys. Team effort. That's going to make it really tough for Montana to do anything offensively if they can't win the line of scrimmage.
It is Devin Wright, the Texas State transfer. Now Ayat under pressure and rolling out, looking downfield and throwing sideline. Was it caught? It was not. He was looking for one of his tight ends, Josh Gale. Transfer from UC Davis, but it's incomplete. Alex Rocha in coverage.
It's one of those situations for Ayat when he rolls out and escapes. Sometimes the decision-making there can be questionable because he had a lot of green grass in front of him to pick up some positive yard. Instead, he tries to make a tough throw in that moment. Probably should have kept it to pick up as much as he could.
0 for 3 start for Ayat, who completes almost 70% of his passes. Now 3rd and 14, might be a free play. Launching it down the sideline, incomplete. The coverage there by Ricky Lee III, but Ayat saw the flag come out and knew he had a chance. Let's get the official word.
Defense, offside, number 2. It's a 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
They average 9 penalties per game. That is one of the worst marks in the conference, and that one's going to give Montana another opportunity here.
You'll watch Devin Wright here, number 2, just lined up a little bit offsides at the edge of that defense. That right foot. Recognize where you are.
Still a tough spot, 3rd and 9 for Montana, and Keali'i Ayat gonna swing it out into the flats to Gilman. Black jerseys converging, makes 2 miss across midfield. Somehow, Eli Gilman has a 1st down.
What an incredible individual effort from Gilman here. I thought Alex Rocha, number 33, had him dead to rights. You see 33 trailing him all the way there. Just whiffs at the point of attack because of the spin move from Gilman. And then showing you the strength to continue to keep it moving. I go back to that special teams play from Wortham, just lighten up this offense right now. You see the energy.
Right back to Gilman, who just carves his way through the line, and he'll have about 5 yards on 1st down. But it's their playmakers. It's Wortham and it's Gilman right now making plays for Montana.
These individual efforts can just make a difference. Guys creating sparks there.
Just 49 yards away from 3,000 to become the 5th Grizzly to reach that mark. And he's just a junior. Wortham is the quarterback in the Wildcat for the former JUCO All-American QB. He's going to keep it himself. Cuts upfield, making a couple miss, and he's going to have a first down.
What a tough call for defenses to be able to have to stop all the variations that this offense has. The running backs are doing big things right now. When Ayat's in the game, he's made a couple of plays too, but then you bring Wortham in the Wildcat, which completely keeps this defense off base. Really tough to stop collectively.
And he will throw it. He's done it twice this year, and both attempts have been completed for 49 yards and a touchdown. Ayat throwing a little out route near the 27-yard line. That is completed to Blake Bohannon, the Kennesaw State transfer.
For Montana, these are the areas where they're going to have to win those one-on-one battles on the outside. They're going to get them because defensively for Sac State, they got to bring all their defenders inside to try to slow this run game.
Handoff up the middle and another first down. Gilman gets a spell. Stevie Rocker Jr. on the carry, the Tucson native.
These wide receivers, Chucky, are going to have one-on-one battles on the outside. Buchanan will be at the bottom of the screen, number 4. Brooks Davis, number 3, is at the top of the screen. Both of them have one-on-one opportunities right now.
Ayat taking a shot toward the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown! Brooks Davis for the 3rd time this season, just a redshirt freshman and a California native. Feeling comfortable back in his home state.
The throw from Ayat was just perfect here. One-on-one battle on the outside. Watch this catch from Brooks Davis. Incredible job of using those hands and pulling that football in. But it's about taking advantage of the opportunity. On the outside right now for Montana, they're going to have those matchups. And if Sac State doesn't change it up, we got a recipe for success for Montana on offense.
Ty Morrison ties it up with the PAT. Ayat, after an 0-for-3 start, is back in business, and we're tied at 7 apiece.
This is one way to do it. You draw it up, get that one-on-one opportunity on the outside. Brooks Davis says yes. They tied this ball game up.
8 plays, 55 yards for the Grizz to respond. Eli Gilman had a tremendous run on a 3rd and long to keep the drive alive, and Keali'i Ayat has completed his last 3 for 41 yards and the touchdown to Brooks Davis.
Brings up a lot of questions for Sacramento State defensively on how to slow this offense down. And they're so dynamic in a lot of different areas. Really hard to get a beat on them.
Ty Morrison set to send this away. The only kicker you're going to see for them. He kicks, he punts. He's the kickoff specialist. Sends it deep to Rodney Hammond, who lets that go into the end zone for a touchback.
So, Chucky, let's take another look at the touchdown here. So Wortham's going to go in motion. He'll be at the top here. You'll see him there. He's going to trickle down in motion. The problem is they're trying to take away the running game. You see all these black bodies in here. They're trying to take away the running game. So that means there's one-on-one matchups on the outside. So they're basically telling their corners, you have to live on an island and win. And it's just tough for these corners to win every single play. Brooks Davis just gets the best of him here for this touchdown. But defensively, you have to try to stop one thing. It's just really, presents a pretty big problem for Sacramento State tonight.
Sam Adams gets the first carry of this drive, and he's finding space and has a nice pickup close to a 1st down. Adams, a senior from Kirkland, Washington, is the least used out of the 4 backs. We're seeing more of him tonight. Must have had a good week of practice.
I mean, they're keeping it back in this run game. The right tackle, Aiden Meek, number 74. Look at him push his guy and give that space for Adams to be able to get up the field to pick up some positive yardage. That's the recipe of success for Sac State tonight, winning on that offensive line.
Whistles before the snap. Likely going to move Sacramento State back.
Ball start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Chucky, they got Gavin Nelson that time, the tight end. This is the tough place for this offense because there's so much about being in rhythm and being on schedule, running the football. So when they hurt themselves, it can create a bottleneck problem for them offensively because they lean on the run so much.
See what they do on the season, almost 250 yards. They're 67 so far. Slow start, but got it going on their last drive. They go up the middle with Damian Henderson. Otluski is there on the stop after a gain of about a yard and a half.
You know, when we spoke to head coach Marion for Sacramento State, one of the things he told us is he's still calling plays. He's the guy who calls plays for them offensively. It puts him in a tough spot when they have 1st and 15 because they're off schedule there. You almost wonder if some of those early downs they need to get to trying to throw the football a little bit, air it out. Maybe they go back to those short passes for Cardell Williams to dink and dunk it down the field.
They've only thrown it 4 times, and I think they've only thrown it beyond the line of scrimmage once. Williams has good speed. He takes off and dives ahead to set up 3rd and 8 on the next play, and that'll do it for the 1st quarter. But exactly what we expected, a competitive contest at Hornet Stadium in Sacramento between the 4th-ranked Grizzlies of Montana trying to keep a perfect season going, and Sacramento State trying to protect the city.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Back in Sacramento, all tied up 7 apiece after one quarter. The 4th-ranked Montana Grizzlies in town to take on Sacramento State. Both teams empty first drives. They come out and score on their second drive, and we open this quarter with a 3rd and 8. Williams going to take a shot to a wide-open man. All alone is Ernest Campbell. He's got track speed. You'll never catch him, and it's a touchdown. What a start to the second quarter. They had thrown for just 16 yards in the opening frame.
Well, one of the things we spoke about, Chucky, was them airing it out, giving Williams an opportunity on the outside. But Micah Harper here, number 2, he's pushing at the point of attack, and he falls down. It's the action and the contact there, gets his feet caught up and just slips. Leaves Campbell wide open for the walk-in touchdown.
You got to think Ernest Campbell, an All-American track star, probably loves press coverage.
Thank you very kindly.
Metters connects on the extra point. Sacramento State just 10 seconds into the second quarter has a touchdown lead.
And it's unfortunate for Montana because it's really the recipe of success defensively against Sacramento State is to press these wide receivers, force them to throw the football deep. But right now, Williams is showing you that if given the opportunity, he can also throw it deep. And Chucky, we've talked about Montana and the versatility that they've shown both run and pass. Right now for Sacramento State, that's been the recipe of success for them on offense, is being able to mix it up with the run and pass. They may have found something here with Williams as a thrower, something they did not have and haven't had a whole lot of this season offensively.
One thing Montana did right after the score that opened the game for Sacramento State is they got a big return from Michael Wortham, their dangerous return man. See how careful Grant Metters is, or excuse me, Joseph Fireball is with this kickoff. Wortham stands at his own goal line. And that's where he fields it. Michael Wortham across the 15, cutting upfield, hit hard, spinning off a tackle, and he gets back to the 25-yard line where they'll take over 1st and 10. UFC 321 tomorrow in Abu Dhabi, highlighted by 2 title fights. The heavyweight and women's strawweight belts are on the line. The prelims begin at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, with the main card at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on pay-per-view. Buy it at ESPNplus.com/PPV. Will you be up at well, you will be up at 7 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah,
catch
I'll be around.
Fight. Yeah,
I'll catch the fight.
I'll be watching that.
A little popcorn, a little action.
Yeah. 1st and 10, handoff to Gilman, who is tripped up and then swarmed after a gain of about 3. Sincere Massey, one of the big guys, in on the stop.
And Massey has been dynamic from his defensive tackle position, and this defensive line for Sacramento State is going to be huge. Xavier Williams, number 45 at end, and Dylan Hampstead, number 56, the other end. Really going to be critical in trying to slow this Grizz offense down.
Ayat rolling out, looking downfield, ends up throwing short for Wortham, incomplete. Ricky Lee, the 3rd, broke late on it as the DB to make that a tough completion.
We have seen Montana do this quite a bit with Ayat. Bootlegs, getting him outside of the pocket. They try to find wide receivers and extend plays. Unable to find his wide receiver that time. Now, you're always looking for number 6 for Montana in these critical situations. They've got trips at the bottom of the screen. He's in the slot, the furthest guy in.
Empty backfield for Ayat, 3rd and 6, throwing a little slant pattern, hit at the sticks, but leaning forward, Blake Bohannon, his 2nd grab of the night to move the chains.
And I love this call by Montana offensively, trying to use Wortham as a decoy. They put him in that slot position and ran him across the defense. Again, for Sacramento State, they're trying to slow down number 6, so they're going to be all eyes on him. Sometimes you can use him as a decoy to create space for other players. Nice 1st down pickup by Montana.
Stevie Rocker Jr. on the carry. He is dropped. He was wrapped up by his shoelaces by Koa Akui, a Hawaiian native. They said that they almost cut him when they took the job before they got here. Said he was excellent in winter conditioning, though. He's a joy to coach, and he is a self-made star.
Yeah, self-made because he's a former walk-on. It's rare to see guys who are former walk-ons not only compete, but also become captains for defense. He has done a terrific job off the field and on it for Sac State.
Played in the opener last year, but then missed the remainder of the season with injury. An easy completion over the middle for our Ayat. A lot of space to run here. This could go for 6. Wortham into the end zone. Touchdown, Montana. 64 yards for Michael Wortham and his 6th touchdown of the season.
Chucky, this is going to be an impossible task for Sacramento State. Watch the route here. He's going to come across the formation a couple of steps and then stop, plant that foot in the ground, and get upfield. Just an impossible job for Jalen Williams there in that mode because he's moving across the formation, trying to slow him down in a one-on-one situation. That's an impossible task for any safety, let alone going against one of the best players in FCS.
Ty Morrison to tie it, and he does. And back and forth we go in the early stages of this game.
We talked a lot about Michael Wortham and his contributions to this offense. He makes this breaks and takes it to the house. Question is, can Sac State respond on offense when we get back?
Is keeping our eyes on the College Football Playoff National Championship. These two teams have their eyes on the FCS playoffs. Montana's certainly on their way. A 5-play, 75-yard drive thanks to Michael Wortham and a 64-yard touchdown grab from Keali'i Ayat. This is fielded by Rodney Hammond, trying to set the Hornets up with good field position. Here comes Hammond to the near side, and Hammond down the sideline with one blocker and one man, and Hammond is going to go the distance. Rodney Hammond, for the second time this season, takes one to the house.
What an incredible job from Hammond here. Watch 17, Cade Boyd. He's on the right of the screen there. He's the one who loses containment, and now he's chasing Hammond. And we know that he's just faster than everyone else on the field. So when you lose containment on special teams.
Holding, receiving team, number 28. That's a 10-yard penalty. Spot of the foul. First down.
Oh, that's painful. That is painful. They got Sam Adams on the hole that negates the big play from Hammond.
I don't think anyone in the stadium saw that flag.
Wow. Unreal turn of events here for Sacramento State. And here's the thing, Chucky, in games like this where the offenses are explosive on both sides, if you can win the kicking game, sometimes that's the difference in winning this game or not. So we're gonna look back on that play. If they lose this game by 7 points, like that is a difference maker, without a doubt.
Hammond's gonna have to take a rest. It'll be Damian Henderson as the running back, and he has it on the first play. Shoots ahead for just 2 yards. First drive didn't go for anything, Darius. Just 3 yards, 3 runs, and a punt, and then a couple touchdowns, and we thought the explosive play just a second ago.
Yeah, they've been mixing it up here offensively. The new wrinkle for them is giving Williams the opportunity to air it out. We saw the big touchdown pass to Campbell. You have to think they're going to dial that up again with the way Montana's playing defense with all these guys in the middle of the field.
Henderson cuts it upfield, and Henderson lowers the shoulder to finish that run. A first down. Roush is the one who brings him to the ground.
These safeties are going to have their hands full against this running game. Cade Boyd that time, number 17, came down and took a poor angle. Henderson made a miss in the hole. He's able to pick up the first down. And these are the situations for Montana defensively where they're going to have to come up and tackle. Going to have to play big in the middle of their defense against this running game for Sac State.
The big fullback, Sammy Norris, out there. They hand it again to Henderson. Gets across the 35-yard line, a 3-yard pickup on first down.
And Chucky, what you're seeing there for Montana, the way it works is you have to be able to plug these gaps. They have to plug the gaps with the players. So the players have to run up the field and plug those gaps. But when they get in those gaps, they've got to figure out how to tackle these running backs in a phone booth. It's one of the things I used to love about running the football is getting a backer in the middle of it and making him miss in those tight spaces. But for Montana, they've got to do it if they're going to have success defensively.
The freshman Jaquel Smith spinning around and reaching ahead to the 40-yard line to set up 3rd and short. For Montana, this defense from a year ago is gone. Top 10 tacklers, among others, departed. 23 starters on this team that started at least 3 games a year ago, gone. They're right back to work this year with a great defense.
It's just great coaching there. Montana has been the Goliath in the FCS, so they're used to being able to get these guys in and plug and play. The big 3rd down now here for Sac State.
Williams in trouble. Williams somehow staying on his feet for a moment, but finally ripped to the turf by Peyton Wing, a big transfer that came in from Portland State, an in-conference school.
Wing was dynamic at Portland State. He was 2nd team all-conference in the Big Sky last year at Portland State. They bring him over in the transfer portal, but watch 32 here. He's right in the middle of this defense. Watch the eyes as he blitz this. Excellent job of just tracking the quarterback and staying with it. One of the things they told us about Peyton Wing is he's got a high motor. One of those guys who puts his foot down and will play through the play. Excellent job from the backer.
Trick play. It's McGough on the backside who catches it, but he's dragged down at the 40-yard line. And it's going to be Montana football. Sacramento State rolled the dice, and it didn't work.
It's an incredible fake here, but watch Jackson Freckress, number 83. They're asking the true freshman to throw the football in that thing. Oh, costly over on downs. Welcome back. We got a tie ball game here, 14-14. This was the first touchdown of the game for Hammond on the ground. This was after a 3-and-out to their second series, and then Montana responded. Brooks Davis makes an incredible catch on the outside, and then Jalen Williams showing you he can deliver with the throws. He hits Campbell on a deep route here into the end zone, and then we're going to call number 6's name quite a bit with Wortham. Incredible route, makes a guy miss, takes it to the house. That's how we're tied at 14.
Wortham had a big kick return as well to set up their first touchdown drive. Seen Cardell Williams and Keali'i Ayat going head-to-head, and Williams airing it out for the big touchdown. Ayat doing the same a couple times now. He's also got a lot of help from this guy, Eli Gilman, who just continues to bounce off tacklers. And he's got a pickup of 5 on what probably should have been a 2 or 3 yard gain.
Yeah, this defensive line for Sacramento State has got to come to play at the point of attack. Melvin Swindle that time, the defensive tackle, number 99. He's the first guy to get a shot at Gilman. If you're a defensive lineman for Sac State, you've got to be able to get these guys down in space. He was there at the point of attack and just missed.
2nd and 5, that's Wortham shifting over to the slot on the near side of the field. Gilman in the backfield. Ayat on the keeper. He's dragged backwards and thrown to the ground. That is Swindle on the stop.
Well, I love the response there from Swindle. When you make an error, you just go back and keep playing. But the physicality here at the end of this play from Swindle, he's in the middle of the screen there, fighting off the center, gets that leverage and slams Ayat down to the ground. bring up the third down situation. Now, for Sacramento State, you got to find number 6. You're always looking for him in these situations. Wortham's at the top of the screen, the second guy in the trips.
3rd and 4. Ayat out to Gilman, and he is tackled, but gets the first down to the 27-yard line. Alex Rocha makes the stop. Always dangerous to try and tackle him in the open field, as we've learned early in this game.
No doubt, but an excellent call from Bobby Houck offensively, giving themselves an opportunity with overloading one side and then going back to the weak side with the running back. That's going to be the recipe of success for Montana, catching them off guard on defense.
This is Wortham with the ball. Cuts upfield. Wortham gets outside. Looking for 6 again. And he is in. Touchdown. Michael Wortham for the 2nd time tonight. Another explosive play.
Now, at what point is this unfair to have him out on the field? For Montana, just an incredible individual job. Watch Akua here, number 4. He has him in the middle of this hole. He's there. The guy is there, and that's the tough part for Sacramento State is the bodies are there, the guys are there. It's just the individual effort of 1 or 2 guys from Montana to make them miss in those spaces. The coaches are doing a great job of putting them there. They just can't make that play.
Bobby Houck said in the recruiting process with Wortham, he's a married man, has a daughter, said his #1 priority was somewhere that would be good for them. It's been pretty good for him, too.
Yeah, he's been dynamic, and he fits right in this system. He's incredible. Sac State's got to respond offensively when we get back. Welcome back in. We've had a lot of fun watching Wortham today. We talked about the versatility of him as a football player. This is a kick return. Big play in the special teams game for him, and then he catches the football, makes a guy miss, and then gets down the field to take it all the way to the house, showing you the wheels there. And if he wasn't done, you hand him the football. Give him the football, let him make a guy miss in space, and take it to the house. For Sac State, this is a tough one because we talked with the staff. We had a chance to spend some time with them with the updated numbers for Wortham, the all-purpose nature of how he leads the FCS, and he's done it in 3 different facets today. But for Sac State, it's the right call by the coaching staff. They have the players in position to be successful. It's just tough on the execution side when you've got a dynamic athlete like Michael Wortham.
Just about to cross over his season average for all-purpose yards per game. This guy right here, Rodney Hammond Jr., number 2, took one to the house their last kickoff, but it was called back for holding as he fields this at the 4-yard line. 2 weeks ago, he housed a kick. This is the freshman Jaquel Smith this time. He's across the 30 and tackled at the 32. Well, here's our Saturday SEC on ABC college football triple header. Number 8, Ole Miss. Number 13, Oklahoma at noon Eastern. Then 4th-ranked Alabama squares off against South Carolina. And then we'll cap the day. 20th-ranked LSU hosting number 3, Texas A&M in Death Valley. Each game also available on the all-new ESPN app. SEC All Day presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. That's a big one for LSU.
It sure is.
Undefeated. LSU just lost to Vandy.
Yeah, having to respond. Big time opportunity for Brian Kelly and company.
Rodney Hammond is the back. They're going to take a shot here down the sideline. It was a little underthrown to Bear Tinney. That's just his 2nd career catch. Had his first a week ago for a 25-yard touchdown.
Yeah, they're trying to get Tinney involved in this game plan. Just a true freshman, 6'6", 269 pounds. He's a big body there. They like him as a wide receiving threat on the outside. And that's what it's going to take for Sacramento State. The true freshman got to step up. It's going to take a team effort for everyone coming to play here today to try to eke out a W.
Cardell Williams, 6 for 6, 94 yards and a touchdown. They were looking downfield, wasn't there, so they had to check it down to Tinney. Williams this time across the middle and hitting his man. Again, it's Campbell who is dragged down by the spike on his cleat, but another big play for Ernest Campbell.
Well, he's showing you some elusive nature on the outside. He's got a one-on-one situation and just cuts inside, working against the safety there, and Micah Harper. And Micah Harper has struggled today against Campbell in those one-on-one situations. He's having a big night so far. 117 yards and the touchdown.
They like this kid, a redshirt freshman from Texas. Mentioned he transferred from Texas A&M. This is Hammond, who lowers the shoulder and gets close to the 3. They'll mark him a little shy of the 3-yard line to bring up 2nd and goal. What a response. We've seen it from both teams now. Nobody has blinked to this point in the game.
And again, for Sac State, we've seen it from 2 young players. We're seeing Campbell compete. We saw Bear Tinney with his catch. Both of these guys are freshmen, so young players stepping up right now for Sac State to try to keep this close. And again, it's what's required when you're going against the Goliath in Montana. Everybody's got to play to the best of their ability, including the young guys.
Took a minute to get the play call in. There's just 3 on the clock to snap the football. And they do. Williams on the keeper, in trouble. And he's dropped to a knee back close to the 7-yard line. Peyton Wing and TJ Roush tracking him down.
That's all Roush there. An incredible individual effort by number 10 to come down from his safety position and play leverage. Not allow Williams to get outside after the play fake. A big-time play. Now, in these 3rd down situations for Sac State, they like to run the football still. They still feel like they can win up front. They've got Rodney Hammond in the game. He's got 15 yards right now. We want him to be a little bit more productive.
Handoff to Hammond, trying to bounce it outside. Cuts upfield, and Hammond back into the end zone. These running backs on both sides have been making plays tonight.
Well, you have to love this call from Sac State, keeping the ball in their playmakers' hands in critical moments on a 3rd down situation. But watch here. Look at this trips out here. All that action on that side has these Montana defenders looking that way. They run the football to the weak side. There's no secondary defender over there. Excellent play call from Sac State.
We are tied at 21 apiece. There's still 4:17 to play in the first half. We're closing in on 500 yards of combined offense so far.
And we talked about Hammond in the open. 22 yards, already 2 touchdowns on the day on the ground. Scored the first touchdown and the most recent one for Sac State. And here's the thing for Montana. They're on the road. They're coming on the road. They're unblemished at this point, expecting to come in here and to really compete at a high level. But you have to think that there's no way they anticipated Sac State to play as well as they have offensively here today. But the Hornets showing you that they're up for the task so far tonight.
Sacramento State scored 20 combined points in their first 2 games of the season. They lost at South Dakota State and at Nevada. They have scored 40 or more in all 4 of their wins over this last 5-game stretch. And they are well on their way to that number again tonight against the best team that they have played this season. Michael Wortham stands deep to return from Joseph Fireball. Wortham will let this one go into the end zone, says, hey, I'll get you on offense. Don't need to do it on special teams this time.
I have to wonder there, too, for Sac State. Like, maybe you don't kick it to him. It's just he's too dynamic right now. You got to keep that football away. Sometimes you got to swallow your pride on special teams and just say, yes, we want to be able to compete, but let's not put ourselves in harm's way by giving an elite athlete like Wortham the opportunity to return it.
Keali'i Ayat back out to try to get back in front for Montana as this first half winds down.
Now, these are the moments for Sac State defensively when Wortham's not in the game. Put a little bit more pressure on Ayat at the quarterback position.
Hand off to Gilman, who is tackled after a short gain on the play. Big number 91, James Gillespie, the senior D lineman on the stop.
And I like the call from Sac State. They brought Alex Rocha from his linebacker position. Again, trying to rush this offense when Wortham is not in the game to try to slow them down.
We're following along with where's Wortham in motion, gets the quick toss. Downfield, just shy of the first down. The 34.5-yard line. Tackled by Koa Akui.
Now that looked a lot like Wortham's touchdown catch where he came across the formation. This time they pitch it to him immediately after the snap to give themselves a 3rd down and short situation. Now Eli Gillum, number 10 at running back. He's been dynamic here today. You have to think they're going to hand the football off to him to pick up the 3rd down.
With one of the tight ends, Evan Schaefer, in the backfield. Gilman is directly behind Ayat. 3.5 yard. Handoff, Gilman hitting the backfield, and he's not going to get there, or will he? The fall forward, they're going to put it at the 35-yard line. That is the line to gain. There is a flag on the field deep in the defensive secondary, though.
Well, sincere
defense, 12 on the field. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that's unfortunate for Sacramento State because they did a good job on that interior line with Sincere Massey, number 90, to try to stop them, but couldn't get their guys off the field in time. And that's the problem that Montana can create offensively. When they go fast and they're so dynamic and versatile, it's critical if you're going to change players defensively to do it in a hurry.
Great matchups tomorrow. Start at noon on ESPN2 in the American. South Florida, Memphis. This is Wortham trying to get back to the line of scrimmage and somehow ends up with a decent little pickup on what probably should have gone for negative yardage. How many times Gilman and Wortham have made plays like that that should have been negative plays or maybe a yard or two?
And again, I don't know what you're supposed to do coaching-wise because you're putting your guys in the right situation. You're just asking them to make a tough play. But an excellent job by Wortham of navigating through traffic there to get this football, to pick up some positive yardage there.
Wortham is the quarterback, hand to Gilman, another broken tackle. This time they get to him in the backfield, a loss of 1. Nice play by Micah Mosley and friends.
Incredible job from Mosley coming down from that linebacker position.
That's going to be the 2-minute timeout here in the first half. All tied up at 21 apiece, and a big play on the other side. 3rd and 8 coming up from Sacramento. Beautiful Sacramento, California. All tied up as we get to the 2-minute timeout in the first half. 3rd and 8 coming up. The Montana faithful have embraced the Panda comment from Sacramento State President Dr. Luke Wood, who said, "We're excited to welcome the Montana Pandas," before correcting himself to Grizzlies. The Montana fans have embraced it, and they've come in here looking to keep their perfect season going, as that is incomplete on 3rd and 8. And forces a 4th down here with 1:55 left in the first half, and potentially a punt from Montana.
Oh, Josh Gale has got to come down with that football. Number 81, the tight end, did a nice job of settling down in the middle of that defense in that zone, right at the sticks. The ball was a little hot, but when you get 2 hands on it, you got to be able to come down with it.
Ty Morrison to punt this away to Jackson Frescus, the freshman from Layton, Utah. Almost blocked. Frescus fields it at the 21. He dropped the football, and Montana jumped on it immediately. I don't think he signaled for a fair catch, and he ends up dropping the football. The Grizz take over a yard outside the red zone.
Now, again, in the kicking game, the problems continue for Sacramento State, but it's because they're asking young guys to play outside themselves. So for Frescus here, not sure what he saw in front of him, but that should have been a fair catch call. He should have tried to fair catch it doesn't do so, gives up the football. If you remember on the fake punt that they did on 4th down, Frescas was the guy trying to throw the ball as well. So you're putting a young player in stressful situations, asking him to compete at a high level. It's just tough for any young guy to get in there and have some success.
Redshirt senior Tanner Huff was the man who recovered it, and that sets up Wortham, who will take the first snap at quarterback and darts up the middle before he's hit hard in the side by Antavion McKenzie. But it's a good pickup on 1st down. They'll be able to bleed this clock down a little bit. There's a flag. No, there's not. There was a glove that fell.
Boy, incredible block from Evan Schaefer that time, number 84, leading up for Wortham. We talked about the violence that Montana plays with. This is a physical football game so far tonight.
2nd and 3. Little option right side. Gilman is going to be pushed out of bounds. Fata Puloka was there to make the stop.
Now, I like the call from Montana there. It's just to the weak side of the field, so there wasn't a whole lot of space for that. You call that to the wide side of the field to give your offensive players a chance to be able to make some big plays. And Wortham, 183 yards all-purpose here tonight, already over his average. We're just in the 2nd quarter.
Can Montana put this in the end zone? Just over a minute to play in the 1st half. Keali'i Ayat in the backfield alone. Gilman in motion. They were going to hand it to him, but whistles beforehand and a timeout by Sacramento State.
Timeout. Sacramento State, they're first.
They didn't like something. What are you looking for here if you're Montana offensively?
Well, they've got enough time to be able to pick up this 1st down, so you don't really need something in the end zone. What has really worked for them tonight with Wortham is when they send him in motion. So in a 3rd down situation, he's going to cause a lot of attention by just his presence in the game. So I like the idea here, Chucky, of moving him as we get the play clock back to where it needs to be at 107. But I like the idea for Montana of moving Wortham around this formation to draw some attention to him.
Montana trying to get the twofer here because they will get the 2nd half kickoff. Sacramento State won the toss and took the football. We had back-to-back 3-and-outs to start this game before the scoring explosion started. You mentioned the special teams for Sacramento State. That was the drop punt. They had a kickoff return touchdown called back. They had a fake punt that was there but underthrown that they weren't able to convert on. 3rd and 2 with 1:07 to play in the 1st half. Brooks Davis in motion, already 1 touchdown catch tonight. This is Gilman on the ground, jumping through. Gilman, a powerful run into the end zone to take the lead. He is a problem.
My goodness, is he strong as a runner with the football in his hands. But that was an incredible job by this offensive line. Dylan Botner, number 60. Look at him push his guy 4 or 5 yards into the distance. That's just incredible. And then Gilman keeps those legs moving to get into the end zone. But Chucky, when your offensive line, when the center is pushing his guy 5 or 6 yards down the field, it doesn't matter if it's me out there or you out there. That's probably going for 6. Give the big guy his flowers and Dylan Botner.
That's why we get along, because you include me in that. There's no chance. No chance. That's an offensive line that returned 3 starters. They brought in a couple new faces. Patrick Matten, a transfer from NC State. Dylan Botner, who has been there, but not a full-time starter, paving the way for Eli Gilman, who is now just 24 yards away from 3,000 on his career.
And looking at Merriam there for Sac State. Little dejected there for sure. And the tough part for them is they're still in this game, but it's just some of the decision-making in the critical moments, particularly in the kicking game, that has caused problems for them. Look, I'm all for giving guys opportunities to compete, but in these big games, we've seen the stars be electric. So you have to keep giving it to the stars versus trying to get some guys some playing time or trying to get young guys into the game. Because that's the difference in this game right now, Chucky, is the kicking game, young freshmen being put in tough spots to make plays.
Morrison sends it deep to Hammond from the 6-yard line. Can he strike the big one again? Spun around, a lot of white jerseys around him to drop him near the 28-yard line. And it's been those special teams problems or big plays called back that have been a big issue for them.
Yeah, they really have been trying to get it going. Now, this was Hammond. He takes this all the way to the house, but it was his fellow running back who got called for holding, so that negated the big touchdown play. Then this was the fake punt. They asked the freshman to throw this football. He underthrows it, unable to pick up that 4th down, and then they put the freshman back into the game in a critical moment to try to catch a punt. He's unable to do so. And that's really the difference in this game for Sac State.
Montana has capitalized on 2 of those miscues. Little throw underneath to Hammond, who is dropped at the 35-yard line, 6 yards on 1st down. They do have 2 timeouts. We'll see how aggressive they are.
I think for Sac State, we saw the big throw to Campbell. It was a touchdown earlier. I think you've got to try to air this out. We know that Montana's going to get the football on the other side. Feels like they have the momentum in this game and the lead right now. If there's a way for Sac State to drive down the field and get some kind of points, that'll help them a ton in the second half.
The final matchup between these 2 teams in the Big Sky Conference. Sacramento State will depart next year for the Big West. Currently, football will be an independent FCS program. It's been a run for Sacramento State in the last 4 matchups against Montana where they have handled business, but Montana with something to prove tonight.
Now, Ernest Campbell's already got over 100 yards in this game, number 13. He's in a bunch formation there at the top of the screen.
Williams dumps it off to Hammond, and he falls down in the backfield.
It's a tough one for Hammond there. He needs to try to figure out how to keep his feet to get out of bounds to stop the clock. And again, that's really been the issue for Sac State, is just the recognition in these real critical moments, making the proper decision.
And Williams will just hand this off to Hammond, spins off a tackle. He has a 1st down, but just 12 seconds to play in the 1st half, and they seem somewhat content. Try and get this one more snap off at least. They still have a timeout. Williams, plenty of time in the pocket, 3-man rush. Now he's forced out of there. Off to the right, he dives ahead to the 45-yard line on what will be the final play of the 1st half.
And now time,
Montana, unbeaten and ranked 4th in the country, leads at halftime, and they will get the football in beautiful Sacramento, California. After the break, it's Zubin Mehenti and EJ Manuel in the studio for the halftime report.
including 32 Bruce Street. To study screens to watch your favorite game, visit skyriver.com. Whether you need local movers in Sacramento, out-of-state movers, award-winning commercial relocation services, Motherlode Van and Storage has the expertise, knowledge, and attention to detail to ensure that you get the help you need during your next move. Service is at the heart of what we do, which is why we approach every move with the same amount of care and attention to detail. Long-distance moving, local moving, office movers, we do it all. Motherlode Van and Storage. Attention Hornet fans, Knight Auto Group is proud to bring you the Hornet Hookup Victory Drive. Your chance to win big every single month. So scan the QR code on the screen, or banner across from the well, or any of the Knight vehicles on display near the Alumni Center to enter. Each month, one lucky winner will take home a player autographed football, a replica jersey, and a Go-Go Sacramento snapback hat. Don't forget, Hornet supporters receive exclusive Knight Auto Group pricing on new and pre-owned vehicles. Enter today and ride with the Hornets. Ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime entertainment, please welcome back to the field your 2025 Sacramento State Marching Band. Our halftime show highlights one of the most successful film composers of the late 20th and early 21st century in Danny Elfman. Our opener is a late 80s Halloween cult classic. As the deceased couple tries to scare away the new house owners, they look to rely on help from a creepy bio-exorcist. Beware, if you say his name 3 times, you never know what tricks may be up his sleeve. Here is Beetlejuice. Show continues to Disney from a blockbuster superhero thriller. The Cape Crusader has been targeting vigilante criminals after the death of his parents. When Jack Napier survives the fall into a vat of chemicals, he emerges as the fanatical Joker. Now, there's only one person who can save Gotham from his reign of terror: Batman. Please welcome back to the field your 2025 Sacramento State Hornets.
You're watching ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. The state capital, Sacramento, California, for tonight's Big Sky Conference matchup. And at halftime, a lot of offense. The Grizz from Montana leading 28-20 21. 49 combined points in this one. He's Darius Walker. I'm Chucky Kemp. Almost 500 yards combined of total offense. Well, what stood out most to you? I have a feeling it's offense.
Well, I've been excited about watching some of this offense play, and what has stand out so far is you have elite players making elite plays. I've been impressed with the offenses. A lot of scoring happening. Hammond was the first one to get it started in their second drive. Did an incredible job of getting into the end zone. Davis catches this one on the outside for their first score, and then Campbell gets behind the defender, takes it to the house with a big catch. Nice easy pitch and catch. And then Wortham. Can't say this guy's name enough with just how dynamic he is with the football in his hands. Cut there, gets upfield, shows you the speed. And then Hammond, for his second touchdown of the day, gets into the end zone. And then hand it off to Gilman. He powers his way into the end zone. And that's how we get to 28-21. A lot of scoring, a lot of offense. And I honestly think, Chucky, there's been a lot of good defense, too, in that the schemes are working. But when you're going against elite players, sometimes guys are just going to make plays.
Kickoff sent deep and into the end zone for a touchback. Michael Wortham will not get an opportunity to return that kick. Here comes Montana, who scored on 4 of their first 6 offensive drives tonight. Keali'i Ayat back out there to lead Montana, hopefully for the Grizz fans, to their 8th win of the season. You see Williams' numbers, 9 for 9. He is perfect with 147 yards and a touchdown tonight. And the way this is going, he's going to throw the football a lot more in the second half.
It seems to be the case for Williams, and that's a new wrinkle to the system for Sac State offensively. They haven't relied on his arm as much this season. Gonna have to do some here this second half to make up some points.
Ayat throwing out wide to Brooks Davis, who had the long touchdown catch earlier in this game. Ricky Lee, the 3rd on the stop, and they get 8 on first down.
And this is something, if you're Sac State, you just can't give up these kind of yards on first down. Ricky Lee's got to come up to be able to make a tackle for a short gain, because second down situations like this, the shots are open. The whole playbook is open right now for Montana offensively on a second down and short situation.
Ayat throws it out wide again, caught by Bohannon. A first down just across the 40-yard line. As Montana moves the chains, Keali'i Ayat, mentioned earlier, a second-generation Montana quarterback. His dad, Brian, is a Grizzly Sports Hall of Famer and an All-American who led them to an appearance in the 1996 National Championship game. There is Brian, a couple in a long line of players from the Hawaiian Islands who have played at Montana, and that tradition kind of dates back to the 1960s. Montana, one of the first teams to recruit Hawaii, and have continued to do that as Gilman spins off a tackler close to the 45, takes a big hit at the end. Houston and McKenzie there. Their current tie to the Hawaiian Islands is their general manager, Jimmy Morimoto, who is a Maui native. But this is a team who has their 4th most represented state is Hawaii. And not a lot of teams can say that across the country.
Yeah, especially with just kind of where Montana is, but it's really kind of happened on the leadership side, too. They've had strength and conditioning coaches from Hawaii. You mentioned the GM now. So when you have leaders from places, they become dynamic in recruiting guys because they have ties to those places, much like other programs across the country. But that has really worked out, that Polynesian connection for Montana.
Keali'i's dad not only played here, he played for the same offensive coordinator. Montana's current offensive coordinator, Brent Pease, was the offensive coordinator for Brian Ayat back in the day. This is Ayat connecting with Bohannon again. They are across midfield to the 40-yard line, just across it.
This has worked quite a bit for Ayat throughout the season, is the fake play action and then the roll around to the other side. Just does a nice job of picking his spots and his moments, those short passes. Excellent job by Bohannon in picking that up. And when they get Ayat out on the edge as a runner with the football in his hands, he's making great decisions so far.
Wortham will take his first snap in the Wildcat of the second half, and he'll keep it himself as he bounces outside. Here goes Wortham again, breaks a tackle inside the 10 where he's dropped at the 9-yard line by Antavion McKenzie, but Michael Wortham is just carving up this Sacramento State defense.
Well, it's really the eyes for Sacramento State defensively. Watch Paculo, number 18 right here. He's just going to go inside. You got to understand with the Wildcat situation, Wortham's not trying to get the football inside. He wants to get outside, so it's protecting the edge on this defensive line for Sac State that's been the problem. Look at the all-purpose yards, 213 yards. Just a tremendous day so far for Wortham. But Sac State's not helping themselves on the edge with giving up that edge. The coaching point there for anyone on the edge of this Sacramento State defense, you have to be able to protect the edge when Wortham's in the game. And here's the tough part for Sac State in this situation right now. You've got all these big bodies from Montana. They bring Gilman back into the game at the running back position. They're going to keep this football on the ground.
They flip it this time to Wortham, who's dropped in the backfield. All over it, Fata Puloka, the sophomore from right here in Sacramento.
The fight for Sacramento State has been tremendous today because you see guys who may make a mistake come back the next play and make a play. Puloku, 18, incredible job on the edge of this. This time he gets in outside and is playing the play inside out, so he's not allowing Wortham to get outside. And it's just that positioning that can help you defensively when you're going up against an elite football player. Nice job.
Gilman steps to the left of Ayat. 3rd and goal from the 11-yard line, trying to make a statement on the opening drive of the second half. Ayat stepping up, outside the pocket and scanning, still with time. Trying to find an open man. He's got one on the near side of the field. All alone. It is caught, and it's a touchdown for Evan Schaefer. There's 2 bodies on the ground back where that ball was thrown. Xavier Williams and Ayat, the quarterback, were both down. Williams has since gotten on his feet. He is jogging off, but Ayat on his back in pain with a flag at his feet. Delivered that throw all the way across the field to Evan Schaefer for the touchdown, but Ayat is now the concern. Fresh off a career day a week ago, threw for almost 350 yards. It's good to see him on his feet and jogging off.
Let's take a look at this hit here, Chucky. He's scanning, trying to find a play.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. What a delivery from Xavier Williams there with that right shoulder pad.
First on the kickoff.
Now we can take another look at this just because I'm kind of curious, because it wasn't overly late in terms of the hit from Williams there. But I can understand why Merriam's a little upset here about the call.
18 left in the 3rd quarter. Montana 35, Sacramento State 21.
Regardless, the Grizz are up. More football on the other side. Sac State needs to compete. They got to catch up.
Kick off your Week 8 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. All the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews of each game right up to kickoff. And then the Commanders in Kansas City. No Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes and company. Darius, they're rolling right now. And we like that in Kansas City. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app.
Well, Chucky, the truth is, I've got Travis Kelce on my fantasy team, so I'm pulling for the Chiefs as well. But let's take another look at this hit on the other side. Now, the call is unnecessary roughness on the quarterback. It's not late from Williams there. I'm not exactly sure what the call is because it's on time. It's a big hit, and I understand if you're out there and you're watching it and seeing it, it was a big hit and a massive collision for the quarterback. But that just looks like a football player making a play.
Yeah, good to see him back with his helmet on the sideline. We'll keep an eye on him as the next drive approaches. But Sacramento State right now, Darius, has got to respond. And you go back to the end of the first half, the punt that was muffed that gave Montana great field position. They score. Montana turns around and gets the football, scores again, as you see Ayat warming up on the sideline.
Great to see him moving around, too, especially after that hit. But that has been the issue for Sacramento State, is hurting themselves in the kicking game. This is not a place where this offense can thrive a whole lot if they've got to air it out.
Williams on the quarterback keeper with the fullback out in front, but it is cut down by Kenzel Lawler. Spent his first 4 years at Utah, came to Montana a year ago, but really seeing a lot more time this season.
This is an incredible job from Lawler here. Williams is just trying to get out in space. We see Norris blocking on the front, that fullback. But we talked about this a little bit on the front end with the play calling for Williams, giving Williams a chance to stretch the field and throw the football. It has worked in the first half. They got to get back to it.
3rd and long. Williams stepping up underneath to the speedster. Campbell makes one miss. Here goes Campbell. He's got a first down and strolls out at the 40-yard line. He is so talented.
Campbell showing you some wiggle with the football in his hands. An incredible job from Williams at keeping those eyes downfield while he was under duress, finding Campbell streaking across the middle of the formation.
1st and 10, handoff. Hammond, who is dropped immediately. Tried to get away from it, but nowhere to go. Caleb Otluski, 6'4", 241 from Melissa, Texas.
Otluski has been playing outstanding today on the edge of this defense for Montana. Incredible job by 45, coming in and making a play, fighting off the tackle on that play.
We mentioned they lost their top 10 tacklers from a season ago. Otluski, the top returner, had 33 tackles last year. As Sacramento State goes up the middle with Hammond and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Hunter Peck on the stop.
Chucky, we know for Sacramento State, Coach Marion is calling the plays here. There needs to be a little bit of a mix-up here to where they can allow Williams to throw the ball on earlier downs. They're putting him in a tough situation, making him one-dimensional in this case. This is just not their game offensively.
5 for 8 on 3rd down, much better than their season average. To Hammond, who's dragged down. He had some space, but Kellen Dietrich was all over it. Missed last year with an injury. But the Montana native back, and that's a big tackle.
And that's an experienced football player making plays. This is his 5th year in Montana, his 5th year in the program. Not fooled by the action in the backfield. Big-time play from the defensive end.
4th and 8. We've already seen a trick punt from Sacramento State that was unsuccessful. They are now trailing by 2 touchdowns. Just beyond the midway point in the 3rd quarter. Cal McGough to boot this away, but whistles before the snap.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Let's go 4th down.
Frustrating night for Brennan Marion on the penalty front. Just a couple little miscues that have really been the story of this game. Low line drive kick that bounces at the 31-yard line. Takes a nice Hornets roll all the way to the 16, where Montana gets the football. Up 2 touchdowns. Le'i Ayat back out there after the big hit in just a moment. Plenty of teams finding their glory again this year. Starting with Virginia, led by Chandler Morris, who came over from North Texas, 6-1 for the first time since 2007. We all remember the field rush earlier this year when they beat Florida State. How about this one? Texas A&M, first time since 1994 that they've started this hot. Georgia Tech still unbeaten, 7-0 for the first time since 1966. And Vanderbilt, since 1950, the first time they've been 6-1 to start a season. Diego Pavia and company. They've got Missouri tomorrow, and that's where game day is going to be.
Yeah, just an incredible job at Vanderbilt. Clark Lee in year 4. Sometimes it just takes time to build a program. They've done a terrific job of fighting through it.
Montana taking a first down shot down the sideline, looking for Brooks Davis. Incomplete pass. Huge drive here for Sacramento State. Has to be a stop.
I mean, they've got to get a stop here. And one of the things I want to see defensively for them is pressuring the quarterback. They need to dial up some blitz. They've got to start to rush the throws for Ayat, because so far he's just been able to pick them apart because there isn't a whole lot of pressure in his face. They need to blitz.
Ayat 10 of his last 12 for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pocket collapsing here, trying to get away from it. Ran into his own man, and he's tackled from behind. Devin Wright around his ankles, as well as Sincere Massey.
And that's what you want to see for Sac State. Alex Rocha that time, the linebacker, they brought him up to the top of the formation, right in the middle. He was able to plug up that gap, leaving no way for Ayat to be able to get on the outside. Now again, in these situations, you look for Wortham. He's number 6. He'll be at the bottom of the screen, second position.
Third down. Here is Wortham, right on cue, trying to dance through tacklers and shoots downfield all the way to the 24-yard line, a couple yards shy of the first down marker, and we will likely see the punt unit.
And look, this is as best as you can ask for Sacramento State. You know the ball is going to 6. He's got a couple of blockers out in front, but if you can get enough jerseys around him, you give yourself a chance to stop him from getting the first down. Nice team defense that time from the Hornets.
And Tavion McKenzie, the strong safety, took on one of the offensive linemen to make that play. 4th and 2, the punt unit is out there. Frescas says no thank you. Remember, he fumbled one of the punts earlier that set up a Montana score in the second quarter. And this is decent field position for the Hornets, down 14 and in desperate need of a score.
Now, one of the things we saw last series for them, and we touched on it a bit, early downs, giving Williams an opportunity to throw the football. There at least needs to be a threat for them to throw the football on the earlier downs. They keep waiting until 3rd down to try to air the football out. I think they've got to give themselves a chance to keep this defense off balance. The way you do that is start throwing the football on the earlier downs.
Empty backfield. They'll bring Damian Henderson into the backfield with Cardell Williams, who's been extremely efficient tonight. He does want to keep this one. Play action pass, and there's his man Ernest Campbell on cue to the first down across midfield.
It just makes a ton of sense because Montana has so many guys on the interior. You see all the white jerseys inside in the box trying to slow down the run. If you can mix it up on those earlier downs and throw the football, it's a good recipe of success for Sacramento State. Campbell's been the recipient of most of those plays. He may have a one-on-one situation at the bottom of the screen, number 13.
Their top receiver on the season, 5 catches, 151 and a touchdown. This one out to Anderson, who is to the 40-yard line on a 6-yard pickup on first down.
This is an excellent job from Williams, settling in, going through his progressions, finding the open wide receiver to pick up some positive yardage on the play. And now in these situations like now where it's 2nd down after you've thrown on the first down, you can run the football. You can keep it on the ground, which is the recipe of success for them.
Flags come out, and this has been the wrong recipe tonight for Sacramento State, is that if this is in fact on them, it would be the 7th penalty.
False start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Kendall Riley, a senior from Lincoln, California, the left guard going early.
I'm not sure that was Riley there too. Another guy had some issues on that offensive line as well. You have to wonder, this is a really big moment for Sacramento State. They're not really used to being in this position in a big game, trying to drive down the field and make it closer.
Williams under pressure, throwing off his back foot downfield, and it is incomplete. He had Ernest Campbell, but it was a tough position with the big man Jake Mason closing down on him in the backfield.
Looks like we got a flag in the backfield as well. It was an impressive attempt by Campbell to try to come back and get that football.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Got the captain that time, Aiden Meek, the right tackle.
Talked a lot about the history of Montana and all the success, the FCS power that they are. Sacramento State recently, 2019 to 2022, their best 3-year run in program history. 30 wins over that span. They won the Big Sky 3 times, but a little bit of a down year a year ago. The Andy Thompson era lasts just 2 years as he went to join Troy Taylor at Stanford. Taylor, of course, no longer at Stanford. And Marion trying to get this program back on the right track as Williams throws it away. But a win like this, you talked about it, being in these big games, this is the biggest game of the season so far for Sacramento State. A win like this just feels like it could really build a lot of momentum for a first-year coaching staff.
And that's where the edge really goes to Montana. They're just so used to being in this position, given that week in and week out for them, as one of the big teams in the FCS that wins consistently, they're used to getting the other opponent's best shot. Everyone's taking their best shot at them week in and week out, so they're just comfortable playing in these kind of environments. Right now, that's been the issue for Sacramento State. Can they rebound to give themselves a chance to get back in this game?
Williams on 3rd and 19, all day to throw the football. Down the middle of the field, it's caught at the 35. They get 20 yards. They needed 19, and it's Gavin Nelson, his first catch of the season.
Well, that's one way to get the first catch for Nelson, but the story for Williams, he's got all day in the backfield. I want him to run. He's got to figure out in these moments. This worked out for them where Nelson picks up the first down, but he's got to make that decision to run so much sooner.
Hammond about 2 yards on first down to the 33.
Chucky, for Williams, he's just got to understand that it's about getting positive yards, play in and play out. So when you have so much cushion there, we know he's super athletic. He's got to take advantage of that faster.
They said he is one of the fastest guys on the team when you get him out in open field. Here he is rolling to his left, wanting to throw it, and it's over the head of Jace Wilson. There was pretty good coverage downfield, though, on the play by Diesel Wilkinson.
And that goes back to the point there, Chucky. If Williams just decides to run, he can pick up 2 or 3 yards. He can pick up maybe 4 yards. Maybe he makes a guy miss. So the coaching point right now for Williams, if I'm Coach Marion, I'm pulling my quarterback to the side and I'm saying, listen, when you have space to run, you have to take it. You're super athletic. You're a gifted athlete. Take advantage to get positive yards on each play.
They talk about what they work with their quarterbacks on going back to UNLV, and before that is all about winning. How do you win as a quarterback at this level? Under pressure. Spun around, now back to midfield. Williams takes a monster hit. It was a great throw downfield. It's incomplete, but Williams got lit up at the end of that play.
This is a miscue on Sac State by the running back, Sam Adams, number 28. And Williams had to take a shot here at the end of this, trying to make a play. Keeping his eyes downfield, good job. But he gets laid out.
It's Matai Mataafa on the hit.
Big time hit. They're going to keep the offense out there and go for it. In moments like this for them offensively, Ernest Campbell has been the guy. He's right here. Second position at the top of the screen.
Williams hit and dropped. Peyton Wing gets home for his first sack of the season. The Montana faithful that made the trip, and there's a lot of them on their feet.
There could have been a number of guys from Montana that made that play. They blitz him on this. His 4th down, obvious passing play. Montana continuing to ball out.
SEC all day on ABC.
This is about as good as it gets if you're a college football fan.
Big slate tomorrow. I'm looking forward to watching Ty Simpson, who has got to be in the Heisman Trophy conversation for Alabama, who's all the way up to 4th in the nation. Montana takes over as Eli Gilman closes in on the 3,000-yard mark. He gets 2 there, so he's 13 away from reaching that number to become the 5th Grizzly ever to 3,000. 2nd and 8. It's going to be Michael Wortham at the quarterback spot in the Wildcat. Hands to Gilman, and he is dropped for a loss of a yard in the backfield. Alex Rocha got there first.
I think that might be the first time we've seen Wortham actually hand the football off out of that Wildcat situation. But it makes a ton of sense because it continues to try to put pressure on the defense. On 3rd down, the pass series for Sacramento State, we saw Montana blitz heavy. This time, I think Sacramento State in this 3rd down situation, they need to bring the pressure to force Ayat to make a decision quickly if they're going to get off the field on defense.
They bring 5. Ayat connecting over the middle with Davis.
And that's the thing, when you bring pressure, that means it's one-on-one on the outside. Ricky Lee that time, number 1, battling against Brooke Davis. Brooks Davis has won that matchup as we have an injured Hornet on the ground there. But Brooks Davis has won that one-on-one matchup against Ricky Lee earlier in the game, wins again on that play. But to me, if you're Sacramento State, that's okay. Like, you have to take away something. And I think rushing the quarterback on a 3rd down situation, given how this game is going, you're just giving yourself the best chance to do that.
Ayat entered the day over 2,000 yards as he gives to Gilman on 1st down, close to the 35-yard line. He came in with 6 picks, but 4 of those came in the first 2 games. So you have a quarterback that's trending in the right direction. You've got experienced playmakers around him. We asked Bobby Houck, why could this be the next team to lift the trophy? He said, I don't know yet. It's still October. You're still trying to figure it out completely. But when you look at this team, is this a team you think can legitimately win it all?
It looks like they're starting to really figure it out, especially on offense.
Wortham does keep it this time and dives ahead just shy of the 31-yard line as we come to the end of the 3rd quarter. And Montana is 15 minutes away from 8-0. This is a team that doesn't have a bye week this season. If they want to do it, they're going to have to win out till December. Some big plays all over the place for the Grizz, and it's going to be a big 4th quarter if Sacramento State wants a chance. Back in beautiful Sacramento, California. Just ticked past 1 a.m. on the East Coast. The offense is slowing down as the night goes on. Just 7 points in that third quarter as Montana extends their lead. We thought we were going to have over 1,000 yards of total offense. We're just past 600 after that third quarter.
Well, we mentioned the time there, too. It is 10 o'clock. I know it's past my bedtime personally, so I'm sure some of these players might be feeling the tiredness nature there, but for Coach Marion, they've been in this game.
They start the fourth quarter with a third down. Pitched out wide for Gilman, and there are a lot of the wrong color jerseys for Gilman, and they put him down on the sideline. A big stop on third down for Sacramento State to start the fourth quarter.
Yeah, led by Xavier Williams there, that in man on the line of scrimmage for the defense. Nowhere for Gilman to go with the football. With all these black jerseys around this runner. Can't cut it in, up, or anywhere. Nice job defensively from Sacramento State. And we felt a little bit of energy from the stadium during the break. I think that energy kind of maneuvered itself onto the football field because they had a little bit of a spirited play there defensively, led by the crowd. So it goes to show you that 12th man can make a difference.
Can you relate to Gilman coming around the edge and seeing all those jerseys?
I would have fell down, fetal position.
Fake punt down the sideline, completed. Montana trying to close the door early in the fourth quarter. It's Ian Finch, a redshirt junior from Missoula, on the reception, and an absolute dot of a throw.
That's what's so impressive is the throw out of here. But what a gutsy call from Montana in this game to call a fake punt. Incredible job by Finch just tracking that. He almost caught it like a punt because of how the ball was thrown. Wow. And Bobby Houck showing you that. The experience, understanding that moment, catching Sacramento State off guard, that's a veteran move there.
Ty Morrison, the punter, with an absolute dot. And Ian Finch with the reception to set up first and goal.
Now here's the point here, Chucky. We've talked about the kicking game and the problems for Sacramento State with the issues in execution. And then you see Montana run a fake punt, and it's executed flawlessly. So it's just those small moments. One play here, one play there. That's the difference in this game.
The keeper again from Wortham, and he coasts into the end zone. What a night for Michael Wortham. Came over from Eastern Washington. He was a JUCO All-American quarterback to start his career, and what a player he is.
It's really been tough sledding tonight for this defensive line. Watch Paluca here, 18. He's the in man on the line of scrimmage. He had a chance to get an arm on Wortham. But as we know and as we have seen all night, an arm is not enough to get number 6 down.
The extra point is good, and Montana is cruising to their 8th win in as many tries here in 2025, and Michael Wortham is a star.
He has just been a stud. He takes it to the house to stretch the lead. A lot of ground to cover for Sacramento State on the other side.
Michael Wortham, he's just chilling on the sideline right now. 233 all-purpose yards. He leads the FCS with 170 per game, that number going up, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, getting those calf muscles worked on. He certainly had a terrific night. That reminds me of you the other day after we had a call, and then, sure enough, you were laid out somewhere getting those calf muscles. I mean, you're doing your thing as the play-by-play guy.
I don't know about the muscle part, just more calves than.
Safe to say Wortham was getting the Kemp there. Love it. Let's take a look at this fake punt, though, here. Chucky, an incredible job. So watch the route here by the outside guy. It's going to make him come inside out, which means when he goes underneath this route, he's just out of position. And so it's that little trickery, you could call it, to just misdirection to get a guy to go around him. Keeps him out of space. But what a gutsy call from Montana on the fake punt.
Williams hands off to Henderson up the middle, who is spun around just shy of the 30-yard line. Tackled by Clay Oven, that's number 37, and that is a big number for Montana. That is a tradition that dates back to 1983, when Craig Paulson was the first one to wear that jersey, and has been passed down player to player ever since. Williams dragged down in the backfield. He is sacked for a loss of about 4. So Clay Oven, Darius gets the number 37. It's a big deal at Montana. I mentioned Craig Paulson, the first to wear that. He actually gave that to Bobby Houck's brother, Tim, who ends up having an incredible career at Montana, goes on and plays a long career in the NFL. He's currently the co-defensive coordinator on the team. And we asked him, when did that tradition get really special? As Williams is in trouble again. He's going to pick up a first down here across midfield. Big run from Williams, and he's finally tackled way downfield. But we said, when did that tradition get special? He said, well, it wasn't quite special when Paulson gave it to his brother at Red's Bar at 2 a.m. the first time.
For sure. Well, what an incredible job from Williams. We've been asking for this for most of the game, for him to be decisive in his reads, to take the football down and take off, because you see what he could do with his legs. But this might be coming back, Chucky, for the Hornets, which has really been the story for them today, the self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, holding penalty is going to make this 3rd and 19. And Sacramento State lays their head on the pillow tonight. They're going to be thinking about a lot of those penalties and a couple big miscues that completely changed the outlook of this football game.
I mean, you're talking about a handful of plays here that are really the difference in this ball game.
3rd and 19. Williams just dumps it off short to Henderson, who is fighting off tacklers. Dietrich finally wrestles him to the ground. It's going to be 4th and long. Talking about Clay Oven. Last year it was Trevin Gradney. He was the first player from Billings to wear that jersey. So he passes it to Clay Oven. That's another Billings native. There's a 37 jersey in the stands, but it always goes to a Montana native. So it's something extremely special, not just to the player who gets it, but to the entire community and fan base for this team.
Well, it does have me thinking here, Chucky, it just like stuff I've received at bars over the years. nothing in relation to that, but
you never
a lot on the mind there.
Jersey. Awesome tradition. Clay Oven carries it on this year.
ESPN College Football is presented by Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Well, this is a Big Sky Conference matchup starring Michael Wortham tonight, who has been exceptional.
233 all-purpose yards. We talked about him in the open, just his ability to be able to impact the game in multiple different ways. We saw him with the kick return, a catch, a rushing touchdown. What a fun day Michael Wortham has had. He has been as good, maybe a little bit better than advertised.
On the big stage against a formidable opponent in Sacramento State, Malai Fonoti in the backfield gets the carry and just picks up a yard on first down. Might not see Eli Gilman again tonight. If we don't, he will be just 17 yards shy of the 3,000-yard mark. And the way he started, we thought for sure he's going to get there, no problem, but we might not see him again.
He's so close. It's kind of hard to track on the sidelines for teams, and you're not looking for individual numbers, but I would love to see him eclipse that tonight.
They might not be looking for it, but we are. Ayat throwing short to Fonoti, who gets to the 50-yard line and sets up 3rd and 3. Most impressive thing you've seen outside of Michael Wortham tonight for Montana as a team?
I mean, I think it's really been offensively just the play calling. They do an incredible job of keeping defenses off balance by mixing up the pass and the run. And then just the ability to use Wortham as a decoy, as an extra layer for a defense.
Ayat rolling toward Fonoti, throwing downfield, and that is incomplete. Diesel Gordon takes care of that one for Sacramento State.
Yeah, an excellent play there by Gordon. Getting that hand on the football to force the 4th down.
Scoreless second half for the Hornets after we kind of saw that offensive explosion toward the back half of the first quarter into the second quarter, which was a 35-point second quarter combined. And we have had just the 14 points scored here in the second half, all by Montana. Morrison sends the punt away, and it's fair caught at the 12-yard line. Montana right up there among the best stories this season in the FCS. Big one tomorrow, 8 Eastern on ESPNU. North Dakota, South Dakota State. North Dakota State, South Dakota State. That's number 1 versus number 2. Montana might find themselves climbing up the rankings this week. 3 teams out of the Big Sky Conference in the top 10. Montana, Montana State. That is the regular season finale. What a matchup that'll be, not just for what all could be on the line, but the rivalry.
No doubt about it. And then the FCS championship moving to Nashville. I'm down to go to Nashville.
Yeah. I like that you're giving us a little shameless nudge. Plug there.
Game.
Yeah.
I'm game.
And off to Smith, who is pushed out of bounds near the 20-yard line. Talked about some of those top teams. Montana at number 4. The top 2 facing off, the unbeatens. Tarleton State also in there, unbeaten at 8-0. Lehigh and Tennessee Tech, both 7-0 entering this week.
UC Davis has had a terrific season so far, too. They were picked 3 in the preseason polls. Lots of talent across the FCS for sure.
Second and a few here. Williams rolling out, heaving it down the sideline, incomplete. Tight coverage by TJ Roush on the intended target, Jordan Anderson. One of the interesting things with Montana is they don't have a bye this season. And we talked to Bobby Houck about that. He said, we've done it before. They actually did it back in 2008. They ended up the national runner-up to Richmond. He said what they did then was from about mid-October on, they didn't practice in the pads.
Yeah.
They haven't done it this year. This is a little bit more of an inexperienced group, but potentially some way to keep them fresh down the stretch.
And that's really the question, is how you do that when you don't have a bye weekend. Nice job by Campbell here to pick up the first down for Sac State. But when you don't have a bye week, keeping the guys fresh for for the entire season. And it looks like we've got a Grizzly down on the field. See if we can figure out who that is.
It's Gino Leonard, a redshirt senior from Missoula, his 5th season. It's been a family affair for Leonard. His cousin played for the 2001 team that won the national title. His grandpa Gene played for the Grizzlies back in the 60s, and he is carrying on that tradition.
He's battled through some injuries in his career as well. I've been excited to have him produce this season. Gotta hope that he's okay. We'll take a step away. We check on Leonard.
Glad to see Gino Leonard on his feet walking off. He just got up just a few seconds before we came back from break and walking off under his own power, which is good to see. It's one of those things as this game is not necessarily out of hand, but as it gets out of reach a little bit, the last thing you want to see anybody banged up in this game. So Leonard will be tended to on the sideline. It's 1st and 10 with 8:43 to play for Sacramento State, trying to find their first points in the second half. And Cardell Williams, plenty of time now, rolling out and throwing down the sideline, incomplete. It was a little bit inside of Jace Wilson. Cade Cutler closed it down.
Well, I think from the positive front for Sacramento State just in this moment, it's forcing them to work on the passing game. To me, that's an area where they've got to spend a little bit more time. We know how prolific they are on the ground game with the plethora of different running backs, but throwing the football can be a recipe for success, so they need to work on it in these moments, even though the game's out of reach.
Williams downfield, that is caught shy of the 35 to set up 3rd and manageable.
I mean, if I'm head coach, Coach Marion, for Sacramento State. I am looking on my call sheet to figure out which of these passing plays that I've always liked, that we worked on in practice. It's time to dial those up to get a real good look against a good football team.
3rd and short. Williams trying to keep the drive alive. They will hand it off here on 3rd down, and that is going to be short. It looked like about a yard short of the line to gain. Grizzlies swarming that at the last second to bring up 4th and 1.
Gavin Nelson, the tight end that time, was trying to block Cade Cutler, number 30. To try to get some space, unable to get there. Now 4th down situation. I think Cardell Williams, again, such a dynamic athlete, keeping the football in his hands.
Handed off on 4th down, and a big run up the middle for Hammond, who is twisted around on the other side of the 50, but they keep the drive alive.
There's an incredible job from Hammond there, showing you the speed. Watch Caleb Obluski, 45. He's going to come in, knife inside, try to get Hammond down. He gets an arm on him. Not nearly enough to stop him from picking up the 1st down. Another big-time play from the back and the running game of Sacramento State.
1st and 10 at the 46. Williams stepping up and now being swarmed, and from behind he's dropped by Hayden Schwartz. 2nd sack of the year for the Jacksonville, Florida native who transferred over from Minnesota. Parents were both great college athletes at Augustana University.
They are excited all about Schwartz. Another one of those big body guys up front.
Williams rolls out, sets his feet and throws short. That was caught just above the turf by Jordan Anderson.
One of the things we've seen too offensively for Sacramento State, where I think they've hurt themselves some, is taking Williams and rolling him out to the short side of the field, giving him the space and the opportunity to roll out that way. Now, he's right-handed. I understand that in this moment you do that, but when you're at the short side of the field, it just doesn't give you very many options when a play breaks down.
3rd and 9 over the middle. That is caught, and that's going to move the chains back to Gavin Nelson, who didn't have a catch entering the night, but he's had a couple big ones this evening. They're down to the 33-yard line.
Well, Nelson's working against Tolbert there, number 11, the linebacker. Nice job picking up the 1st down, winning that one-on-one battle in the middle of the field.
Time for Williams, throwing off his back foot. That is tipped and incomplete to bring up 2nd down. Cardell Williams was not the opening day starter for Sacramento State. It was actually Jaden Rashada, and if that's a name that sounds familiar, it should. He's one that came over from Georgia, didn't play there last year, started his career at Arizona State, but he had the big NIL deal at Florida fall through when he was originally going to go play for the Gators, was a big-time recruit, number 31 on the ESPN 300, 2nd-ranked dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2023. But Williams took over in week 2 and hasn't looked back since. Talented quarterback room. That is a dangerous throw, but a strong catch by Ernest Campbell, who continues to impress. He's just 5'9", 145. That's a fearless grab.
And just a playmaker. He's a guy who's fearless in the end zone. Watch 13 here. He'll come to the right of the screen and just settle down. Now, this is an excellent throw from Williams. Again, I mentioned practicing the throwing ability right now, using this opportunity to gauge that. Excellent pitch and catch.
Another throw downfield. It's Campbell again inside the 5-yard line. He's got 8 catches, and he's closing in on 200 yards receiving tonight. And it's only
again another penalty of hurting themselves when they get some positivity there. But the great news right now for Sacramento State, I think, is that the passing game, using that as a weapon and understanding that you don't have to be so reserved on calling passes with this offense, because Cardell Williams can sling it. He's accurate. He's going through his progressions quickly. when they look at the rest of their schedule going the rest of the way, they will be able to put some pressure on some defenses throwing the football in addition to the prolific run they have.
3 of their last 4 games this year are on the road. That is a long throw toward the sideline. And again, a receiver going up in a tough situation and making a grab. Jordan Anderson again, redshirt freshman from Inglewood, California. They have young, talented receivers in Anderson and Campbell.
Yeah, they do. They've got a young crop that makes a ton of plays for them. But another perfect pass from Williams there. I'm loving what I'm seeing right now from Cardell Williams as a passer this drive. They just needed this earlier in the game, to be honest.
Second and 11. Rolling to his right. And now he's going to go back to the left side. Nobody's there, and Williams is going to take it in. His 8th rushing touchdown of the season to lead the Hornets.
And that is the beauty, Chucky, for offense. When you're throwing the football well, you get all these secondary defenders trying to cover gaps and zones. Nobody stays to watch the quarterback, and Williams trots into the end zone untouched for the touchdown.
Statistically speaking, for Williams, it's been a really impressive night. Metters sends it through to make it 42-28.
When you look at his numbers as a passer, 273 yards passing and the touchdown. You add that rushing touchdown to it. He's been productive. If you remember, when we came out of halftime, Chucky, one of the things we asked for was for Cardell Williams to have more opportunities as a thrower. And so I think in terms of the recipe of success for Sacramento State moving forward, as they look towards Eastern Washington next week, this is a nice new wrinkle to add to this offense to put some pressure on some defenses throughout the Big Sky and the rest of their schedule.
Big night in Sacramento in the conference and nationally at the FCS level. Big night in Sacramento in general. The Kings actually had their home opener tonight. Won by 1 point. Domantas Sabonis with a little go-ahead bucket. 6 seconds to go. That was going on downtown. We had a great crowd here, over 16,000 in attendance at Hornet Stadium.
Exciting nonetheless in terms of Sacramento. I am looking forward to watching Russell Westbrook, though, with the Kings. I think he's a nice add to them right before the season started. I know he's going through some conditioning stuff now to get himself back ready, but when he's on, he can play.
Onside kick coming here from Joseph Fireball. Try and give themselves a late chance. That's hit hard. Nice job to field that on the hands team by Brooks Davis. Could you hoop at all?
That was my favorite sport, to be honest. Yeah, that was my favorite sport. I just didn't have the height gene. Didn't hit me enough. As far as that goes, love hoops.
You had plenty of shake, though. I feel like you had the ball.
I had some hops, too. To my credit, some hops.
How about this? Tomorrow, South Florida, Memphis. That is a really good game in the American Conference, and big when you think about the group of 6 representative in the college football playoff. Baylor, Cincinnati, Big 12 matchup, and then number 1 versus number 2, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. The late one on ESPNU. Gilman is out there, so he could potentially get to the 3,000-yard mark. He's not going to add to that total on the first down carry.
Well, maybe they hurt us up here.
It kind of feels like they did.
Through osmosis.
They said, Darius Walker's in the booth. Let's get it done tonight.
Give him the 3K tonight. Let's make it happen. Really looking for that for Gilman. But for Bobby Houck and company, this has really been the recipe of success for them all season, is figuring out how to win late in games and honestly not making mistakes. That's been the difference for them so far this season, despite the fact that they have so many new players on their team.
2nd and 9, and Ayat is going to throw this. He's going to take a shot down the sideline. A lot of contact and jostling over there. He's looking for Brooks Davis again. The flag comes in. This is likely going to be pass interference against the Hornets.
Yeah, looks like they got Ricky Lee again. We've talked about him. He has struggled some today in coverages. As we could try to take another look at this. Brooks Davis kind of fell down while he was going on the route. Watch 3 here, Chucky, at the top. Fighting towards the end of this, but you see the grab cloth there from Ricky Lee grabbing that jersey. And it really was one of those situations, had he turned to find the football, he would have recognized that he actually didn't have to grab Davis at all in that situation because the ball was overthrown. But
second down.
There's offsetting penalties, holding on the offense as well as the pass interference on the back end. So we'll replay 2nd and 9.
Well, we've been talking about a lot about Eli Gilman. He is currently in the game right now, number 10. Right behind the quarterback in Ayat.
Needs 16 yards to get to 3,000 for his career. Ayat going to throw it out to Gilman and nowhere to go again. Sacramento State has had his number in this second half. They go backwards on 2nd down.
Xavier Williams there, that defensive end. He has done a terrific job, number 45 for Sacramento State. A real good job playing football today on that edge of that defense. And that's the thing for Sacramento State, Chucky. Like, there's a lot of bright spots today in how they competed, how they played, how they responded to adversity. Just a couple of plays they would want back that ended up being the difference in this game.
It's a team that has been trending up, though, since the beginning of the season. Lost their first 2, won 4 of the last 5. Ayat downfield into traffic. It's picked off. Sacramento State coming up with a turnover. Lamont Johnson Burrell with 2:36 to play in the 4th quarter.
This is the first mistake we've seen from Ayat all day, because Wortham is triple covered here. There's 3 defenders there. There's no reason for that football to go to number 6. Ayat tries to force it. Johnson Burrell comes up with the pick. Uncharacteristic error from Montana's quarterback.
First and 10 at the 12-yard line, 2:36 to play in this 4th quarter. Gave Sacramento State a little bit of life, but now Williams in trouble. He's hit hard and dropped again.
Well, for the first time tonight for Montana, we see them go all-out blitz. They blitz all 3 linebackers, and then Wilkinson, number 24, the safety, comes late, untouched. They had a fire drill at the quarterback on that one.
They had just 10 sacks, ranked 11th in the Big Sky in sacks entering the night. They've got 5 this evening. That's really what Sacramento State does defensively. They lead the FCS in sacks. They have not been able to get after Ayat. But Montana has been all over Williams. 2-minute timeout and a 14-point lead for Montana. You're watching ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. 42-28 Montana at the 2-minute timeout here in the fourth quarter. Big night for Michael Wortham. They will try to keep it rolling next week at Weber State, then back home. And a crowd that will be ready to see the Grizz against Eastern Washington. The big one, though, is that top 10 matchup with their rival Montana State in the regular season finale. And that is picked off. Just for good measure, Montana gets a takeaway. It's Caleb Otluski, his second interception of the season.
And Williams just throws this straight to Otluski. But it's Kenzo Lawyer, number 8, the corner. He's going to come on a corner blitz untouched. And that pressure, that color in Williams' face forced him to throw an errant throw. Watch 8 to the right of the screen. He's going to come untouched here. And it's in his face, so he's just trying to get rid of the football. It's a nice job by the back coming over to try to pick up that color. Excellent job, though, by Otluski to catch that football for the interception.
Malai Fonoti on the carry, and he's into the end zone. Fonoti's second touchdown of the season, the redshirt freshman from Laie, Hawaii. And that will officially do it.
That'll certainly end the game. Nice job running in traffic there, making a couple of guys miss to get to the end zone. And the tackling piece is something we haven't touched on a whole lot here, Chucky, but for Sacramento State, those fundamentals coming into today, they're going to be critical moving the rest of the way because they've been in position a number of instances here today to get a guy down. Just haven't been unable to do so.
49-28, a dominating second half performance. Remember, this was just 28-21 at halftime.
Yeah, it's a very different game, I mean, from the first half into the second half. Quite the turn of events here for Sacramento State. But I think what we've seen from Montana is really what we've seen from them all season, in that they're a well-coached team. They've got poise. They're used to playing in the big games, so the moment's not too big for them. And that was the thing when we spoke with Bobby Houck and we had some conversations with him. He was so calm about, like, yeah, I'm going on the road. This is a big game. Sacramento State has been playing well. He seemed unfazed by the moment. And I think part of that confidence is going to trickle down to your team because we're seeing his team play lights out. They're not making mistakes. They're capitalizing on things outside of the interception from Ayat. They played pretty clean football all the way through.
Second tenure as head coach at Montana for Bobby Houck. The first ran from 2003 to 2009. He left, spent 5 years at UNLV as the head coach, 3 as the associate head coach at San Diego State, and then returned in 2018. And it was right back to business and winning and carrying on a fantastic program tradition. They have not made mistakes tonight. And on the other side, Sacramento State, there have been some big miscues.
Yeah, there's been quite a few here for Sacramento State, unfortunately. Now, this was the big touchdown return from Hammond. He's going to take this all the way to the house, but it was called back because of holding. And then they decided to do a fake punt here. They asked the freshman to throw this football to the punter. He underthrows it, and it doesn't happen. And then they asked the freshman to catch a punt in a critical situation there. In the second quarter, he was unable to catch it. Did not call a fair catch to get the space, and that's really been the story for Sacramento State. It's just a handful of plays that really have made the difference.
Williams throwing over the middle to the 41-yard line. First down. That's Ernest Campbell again, continuing a career night. 8 catches. And right at close to that 200-yard mark. It's career night passing-wise in yards, completions, and attempts for Williams. Throwing across his body back to Campbell again. That will take him over 200 yards on the night.
I'll tell you, Campbell has really shown some incredible ability to be able to settle down in zone and find spots, just awareness of where defenders are in coverage. He's been outstanding today.
Number 1 versus number 2 tomorrow at 8 Eastern on ESPNU. South Dakota State and North Dakota State as Gavin Nelson makes another catch. This is just a big weekend for the FCS.
Yeah, sure is. I think both of these teams, Montana and Sac State, will be watching that Eastern Washington Weber State game tomorrow. They'll be facing both of those teams on the opposite side next week.
1st and 10 at the 30. Williams stepping up, back to Nelson. What a great night for Gavin Nelson, just adding that to the film for future opponents to worry about 87.
Yeah, he certainly picked a day to step up. He's got a big frame, though, at 6'4". Nice big target for Williams. And again, impressed with the decision-making of Williams, the accuracy of his passes.
Timeout. Montana. They're first.
Just imagine what that could do for Sacramento State if they could just figure out how to continue to throw the football well, add that to the prolific running game, have a pretty prolific offense the rest of the way. And that's the thing for Sacramento State. I mean, you look at their upcoming schedule, they got Eastern Washington next week, Portland State, Idaho, and then that UC Davis game at the end of the year, their biggest rival. But when you look at them, we've got a first-year head coach, a ton of new players, a new offense. There's bound to be some ebbs and flows throughout the season. But there's been some bright spots for sure here tonight for them. The score may not reflect it. There's definitely been some bright spots for the Hornets.
I think we both walked out of our meetings with Brendan Marion believers in what he's going to do as a head coach. I think that's why they were able to attract so much talent like they did. A guy like Ernest Campbell and many others, 71 new players, as you mentioned, and a talented group of new players. Williams taken down in the backfield. Peyton Wing again. He is having a big night. 6 sacks for the team.
Just a tremendous individual job. Rodney Hammond that time, we talked about how dynamic he is as a runner. He whiffs on the block. So not one that you want to see from your running back. One-on-one situation with a linebacker to block him, just kind of whiff on the guy. Doesn't look great on tape. Certainly doesn't bode confidence for your quarterback in thinking his running back will have his back.
Sacramento State took a timeout. 32 seconds left to try and get in the end zone one last time. On 2nd and 17 now. They have already surpassed their win total from a season ago. Just 3-9. We're just 1-7 in the Big Sky. It was their worst record since 2018, before Troy Taylor came in and had a great 3-year run. They were challenging the likes of Montana. I mentioned the 3 Big Sky championships from 2019 to 2022. Williams on the keeper, jogs out of bounds near the 15.
Well, certainly business as usual today for Montana. I think if you're Weber State and Coach Mental and you're watching this game, trying to figure out how to slow down Montana offensively, I'm not sure what the recipe of success really is, because they're incredibly versatile. I think we saw Sac State have some success trying to put the pressure on the quarterback, as we see Williams taking it to the house, into the end zone. Incredible job by him to run that football.
They will give him a touchdown on 3rd and 12. Consolation as they still trail by 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's the thing here, making that decision quickly. We needed to see more of that in the first half, but a nice job of tucking and run, getting into the outside and getting to that pylon for 6 points. And I think it's pretty clear to see, too, sometimes in these situations when you're a new staff coming to a new program, you have trouble figuring out who's going to be your signal caller, who QB1 is. I think there's no doubt that Cardell Williams has proven himself as an elite quarterback in the Big Sky with high upside the rest of the way.
If you just looked at his numbers, you'd be like, okay, this night
win
went
with
okay with you.
Can definitely win with that.
Not been the case tonight, though. With 18 seconds left, still a 14-point lead for Montana. This is one of just 4 road games on the year for Bobby Hauck and the Grizzlies. And you talked about it, they go to Weber State next week, so it's back-to-back road games. And we mentioned when they go back home on November 8th to play Eastern Washington, Washington Grizzlies Stadium is going to be rocking. They have a season ticket allowance out that they sold almost 20,000 season ticket packages. That has gone up 3 straight years.
It's just incredible. They've done such a tremendous job of creating excitement and continued excellence around the program.
And they travel well.
And then they travel well. Yep. And one of the things that Bobby Hauck told us is that we've got to get out to Mizzou, have a little fun out there as well, because they know how to call it and they know how to play some football.
Fireball tees it up, second onside kick opportunity. And again, fielded nicely by Brooks Davis, who's making a case to play shortstop in the spring. Should just be one snap away from Montana's 8th win of the year. And an extremely talented team with the sophomore quarterback, Keali'i Ayat, calling the shots. Full-time this year, started 6 games a season ago. But this is his team and a guy who is continuing to get better and better. We'll get to take a snap in the victory formation.
I think both quarterbacks here today had really strong performances to help their teams win.
Montana wins it 8-0 for the 4th time under Bobby Hauck. For the first time since 2009, he has got a good one. Maybe a national championship contender in Montana. For Darius Walker and our entire fantastic crew, I'm Chucky Kemp. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Don't forget, tomorrow, 8 Eastern on ESPNU, number 1 versus number 2.